So what's interesting, the voice is a little bit groggy. I don't know why.
Water?
It's been like that for a couple of days. As Yaakov said, today is Tu Bishvat, and I read a story last night, which we actually said over here. It's the story about a guy who wanted to be a farmer, and he comes to a real farmer, and he says, "Listen, I want to learn how to be a farmer." So he says, "Okay, come, but don't ask too many questions and don't flip out at what we do." So he comes to a field, and he sees the field. Where's David? Oh, David.
I'm right here.
This cheers for you.
It's always
And he sees this field, right? And the guy, he sees some stalks and whatever. He starts to get a tractor and plows the whole thing down. Guy, let's call him Benny. He looks at it, he's like, "Yo, what are you doing?" He happens to be Benjamin is his name. He says, "What are you doing? You just plow down the whole thing." He says, "Don't worry, don't ask any questions." Okay. A couple of weeks later, he comes. He takes nice golden kernels, which you could make, popcorn. You could make flour, whatever. He starts spreading it all over into this land. He says, "Yo, why are you taking this nice corn and throwing it in the garbage?" He's thinking he's throwing it in the whatever. It's like, "Don't worry." He plows over the corn. All of a sudden, several weeks later, again, he comes over and he sees beautiful, grain that came up. It's like, "Wow, nice, beautiful." Yeah. He takes a different tractor and he starts going, He's like, "Yo, why are you destroying it?" Little does he know, he's taking the little kernels from the stalks that grew. After that, he takes it, he starts winnowing these things, crushing them. He's like, "Yo, this guy's out of his mind. So much work he's putting in. And he's, now he's breaking all this thing up." He collected into a pile, put some water on it, made a nice fat dough. And he's like, "Oh, Baruch Hashem." He takes it and puts it into the fire. So this guy's thinking, "Yo, this guy's nuts.
Why?
I don't understand. He's whacked. What is he doing? I don't understand." You hear? And after a little while, what came out? Beautiful, delicious bread. You hear? So they wanted to tie in this thing to Tu Bishvat, and they wanted to say that what? Hashem created us, and He put us through a lot of suffering. We had Egypt, we had Germany, we had Spain, we had Russia, we had many, many different persecutions and so on and so forth. And in each one of these things, what happened? We ended up becoming stronger, and we became bigger in a sense, where the whole world that you look at, everything is run by a Jew. Everything revolves around the Jew. And they're saying that our time period right now is the oven. If you ask the Chachamim, they're going to tell you that we, in the world of this whole farm example,
I thought that was German.
we're in the stage of what's called in the oven. We're very, very close. We're very, very close to the redemption. And Be'ezat Hashem, the redemption is going to be close. But I didn't want to say this, right? But you triggered a very interesting thing today. You said, "You know why I don't do it?" What was your answer?
I don't feel like it matters.
Exactly. And that's the biggest folly that somebody can actually say. You know why? Nobody in this world is brought to this world for no reason. And if he's brought to this world, he's actually brought to this world for the greatest reason that there is. It's just that he doesn't know what that is. Where's Isaac? Oh, Isaac. You said he didn't know that it was Gilgul of Cain, yeah?
Right, but he gives him all these signals and all these.
That's the whole secret. Mm-hmm. See, you might be a Gilgul of a major rabbi. He might be a Gilgul of some great person, and Hashem is waiting.
How do you know?
For this, and we don't know. And since we don't know, you should know that each one of us has the capability of becoming master of the world.
Moshe
Rabbeinu. We can become, inexplicable people. For instance, if you look at some of the greatest people that we have in our history, the guys were really nobody. You hear? For instance, we have the I always forget the rabbi with the hat that's like this. in Israel.
Rabbi Nathan.
He's still alive. He, you know,
Yeah,
he made not that. He made a lot of people b'tshuva.
Big rabbi, thousands of people.
He was not a religious.
people.
He was not a religious. He was not a religious guy. Yeah, he was a regular guy. What happened was he understood his potential. He realized what his goal is in this life, right? And he took a complete turn and made himself into a man who brought thousands, if not millions, I'm not sure how many people he brought to Teshuvah, to come back to their roots. Yeah? So therefore, what you said is actually a little bit sad.
No, it's not.
Why? Because you know what your brother said. What did he say? Low self-confidence or something like
That's
that?
not what I was trying to do. Okay.
Oh, so you should know that every one of us should think that what we do, both positive and negative, affects the whole world. He just said right now, Yaakov just said right now, that we don't know that what actions of ours damages the world or brings this world into a different level. And he's right when he says that because we are sitting here and learning Torah, there's major worlds that we're building. And each one of us builds a world for himself, whatever that means. We don't really understand what it means to build a world, but Kabbalistic thoughts, they talk about building worlds, every time you do it, you build a world. What that means, we don't know. But for sure, it's something good that you're doing. Mm-hmm. And similarly, when you're doing something wrong, you should know you're destroying worlds. And you're doing something that is actually detrimental to the world itself and to your own spiritual world that you're going to be in the future. When I get up in the morning, I'm pretty sure many people are still sleeping because it's a little bit before 5 o'clock. But I have a good feeling. Why? Because I feel how many people right now are going to be learning Torah at 5 o'clock in the morning? Not many. Yeah, there's some guys getting ready to shul, 5:30 they have Gemara and whatever. But each one of us should know that when he's at work, when he's on the train, when he's home alone, when he's whatever he's doing, when he opens up a holy book, you should know that Hashem has given you this ability to be able to improve this world. And similarly, when we Jews, who are real Jews, some of us maybe are not real Jews, we don't know, but we have to assume that we're Jewish.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Because the Gemara says, it cannot be that a Jew who's a real Jew will act like a non-Jew. It cannot be.
It could be.
What?
It says it cannot be.
What are you talking about?
You didn't understand? Should I tell you in English?
Slower.
In English. He says, the Gemara says, it cannot be that a Jew who's a real Jew will act like a non-Jew.
I know 1,000 cases like that.
Oh.
Maybe
they're
they're Jewish then.
So maybe they're not real Jewish.
What if
What?
What if they're Chazer b'tshuva?
You know.
Like
You,
Rav Yitzchak, you said he wasn't religious, right?
Yeah.
And then he became religious.
very good, very
So
good.
in the case of that, he was acting like a non-Jew.
Very
before,
good.
now
But
he's
we don't know
acting like a Jew.
until, again, when I say acting like a non-Jew, it doesn't mean you don't wear kippah, you eat. Sometimes it's because you don't know. And when you don't know, it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but it's understood. There is such a thing as, there is such a concept as tinok shenishba, which means a child that was lost. Many of us were lost. We grew up in Russia. Yeah, we didn't know what was right, what was wrong. We saw our parents here, there, we heard, we read, but we really didn't know. But imagine a person that knows. He grew up in yeshiva system.
A lot of people get turned off.
You're right. But you know what? Sometimes it is, David, sometimes it is our choice to get turned
That's
off.
not true.
Again.
I know a lot of cases where, for example, a kid was in, let's say, yeshiva. He, let's say, got kicked out of yeshiva because he didn't go to Shabbaton.
Okay, no problem. I understand that. But what I want to tell you something is,
And he quit.
you should know that many of us around here grew up with challenges. Like your father, like myself. You know what? We could have quit and become junkies.
No,
One second.
kid get kicked out.
And you know what would be? It wouldn't be the kids that we have. It wouldn't be the grandkids that we have. It wouldn't be the domots that we have. It wouldn't be the kelins that we have. Why? Because we quit. And it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard. To the point that, we didn't even have an apartment to live in. But the thing is, this is the whole thing that we just tried to tell you about the whole wheat thing. We come, we cut it, we plant it, it grows again, we crush it down, That's the whole challenge of life. We come here, as Yaakov just mentioned, right?
I get that.
We go from the spiritual world. I know you get it, but you really don't get it.
No, because what I'm trying to say is that the people in this life that's supposed to be helping us to achieve, the goal.
Nobody's supposed to be helping
No,
you.
what do you mean?
Nobody's supposed to be helping you. You know who's the only one that's supposed to be helping you?
No.
You yourself.
Yeah, I know.
You have to go against all odds.
No, I'm not saying
But
that.
you know what odds you're going for? Not you. Chas v'shalom. We go on the odds of the goyim.
No, a person could only pick what odd they go for is whenever there's no one on top of them. When they're not in school
You
anymore.
don't need-
When they're not in school
Yeah.
anymore. Whenever they're technically older. Whenever, right?
You know all this school business? It's all a new invention. Kids didn't go to school.
What I'm trying to
70
say
years ago, 80 years
is
ago.
that I know a lot of kids, personally myself, that I went to these, certain schools,
Yeah.
this, that, and then because of that,
I hear you. So what does that mean? I quit?
No, it's not quit.
So what does that mean?
Dude, you dealt with these cards. Now play a good hand.
Yeah. You know what that means? I'm going to get up and I'm going to make it better. The first time you try to sell a watch, guess what? You didn't sell it. The second time, guess what? You didn't sell it. And the third time and the fourth time, and then finally you sold the watch. You're like, wow, oh my God, it's possible. You understand? Why didn't you quit after the first time, second time, third time, fifth
You
time?
sometimes do quit,
Why you didn't quit?
but you sometimes do quit.
But you're still there. See, the thing is, each one of us has a chip inside of us that Hashem implanted. It's called the neshama. You hear, David? Our neshama is capable of doing anything that Hashem is capable of doing. You understand? He gives us that capability. We decide on our own to either bring this neshama to the next level and do what is proper in the world, or shut the neshama down. You hear, David?
Yeah.
Shut the neshama down, take a stogie or whatever that's called, take a little, beer in the hand and say, you know what? I'm just going to cruise.
For 1 hour or something.
No, I'm going to cruise. Yeah. You know this 1 hour
You
in
fall
Hashem,
down to get back up. What are you talking about?
After the learning.
1 hour in Hashem's world. Yeah. I hear it. A little bit of wine or here or there. It's okay. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying what they do is their whole life is coasting. And we know people like that. We know people that are very close to us like that, unfortunately.
Whole life as well?
Huh? The whole life is I'm just coasting.
Cruise control.
I'm just cruise control, but the cruise control has no end to it. Yeah, it's a non-navigated cruise control. Or if there is navigation, it's not going to where it's supposed to go.
So you're saying you can't chill?
And it's unfortunate. I didn't say that. I didn't say it. Chilling is very important. Very important. But the main goal we have to have. What's the main goal? You understand? So as Yaakov was saying, the end game is Olam Haba. I don't care how you look at it, who you look at, where, what. All the arrow show, we can't take anything with us. Nothing. Not the hairstyle, not the money, not the houses, not even your intelligence. Intelligence is just an illusion. In fact, this morning when we were learning, one of the young guys over there said, somebody was learning quantum physics and so on and so forth, and he said that everything is an illusion. And we mentioned it before here. You should know that this table exists. Why?
Atoms.
Because there's atoms and neutrons and whatever that are going so fast that it's considered a table. If these things automatically stop right now, the table will disappear. It won't break down. It will disappear. It won't be here.
But it's from a tree. The wood from the tree.
That's what you think.
but it's simple.
Yeah. So it brings us to the saying of the Chachamim that say what? That Hashem recreates the world every second.
Yeah.
You know what it means? He's recreating this thing every second. He's making sure that all the atoms that are moving in this cup, in this stender, in this phone, in this book, and everything, he's recreating everything. Imagine, God forbid, I don't know if you studied in science, but do you know that if the world stops right now, we would all be destroyed? You know why? Because the world is traveling so fast that it's like you going 400 miles an hour in a car. I don't know if that's possible there. And all of a sudden, you out of nowhere slam the brakes full speed. You know what's going to happen? You're going to fly out of the car.
Let's have a seatbelt.
Whoever's sitting there, even with the seatbelt 400 miles an hour,
Slice your neck.
if you're out. You're out. You understand?
In half.
Same thing with the world. Why doesn't everybody think, That can you imagine that Hashem makes the earth rotate every single minute in these thousands of miles per hour that he's doing it? Can you imagine that? Did anybody doubt anything that something like that would happen? No. Why? Because it never did. You hear? And we take it for granted. And we keep taking things for granted. And then we become king, we slick our hair back, and we say, you know what? You know who I am? My name is DY. And I can do whatever I want to do.
On cam?
I can say, well, there's many DYs. There's a
about
DY
King
sitting over here.
Solomon?
Maybe I'm talking about him.
What's
King
DY?
Solomon,
They were right
for
there.
3 days,
There
the
you
sun
have
didn't
it.
go down.
Oh, very good.
So,
Who did that? You know who did
the
that?
name of King Solomon, no?
No.
Hashem did it.
Yeah. King Solomon didn't say you should stop. Hashem
have
wanted
kids.
him. Hashem wanted him to be able to finish whatever he had to finish, and he made the sun stop. Which means you should know, stopping the sun is not such a simple thing to do. Not as far as to stop. Stop it is easy. It's everything else that has to go now revolve around it. Meaning, just because, like for instance,
ripple effect.
right now, if I stop talking, okay, I stop talking, big deal. But when the sun stops, for whatever amount of time it stops, it means the moon and everything that's gonna be revolved around it has to also stop and recalculate. Who did that? Guess who did that? The only creator who created everything. And therefore, we still, guys, I'm sitting and I'm one of you guys. We still do not understand that everything runs by Hashem. No matter how much we could say, yeah, Hashem.
We're not following
Huh?
things out?
Yeah,
That's why.
because we don't give a damn.
Why do you say that?
You know what it says? You know what it says? Today we learned with Vladi, we're almost 1 page away from doing a siyum. Masechet Makot, yeah.
What's your-
1 page away.
Really?
He says he wants to do reserve cut, but he wants to take only
pay.
those 3. You pay for reserve cut?
I get to.
So look what he says.
Is he
It
gonna
says
bring
that
rappers?
in the beginning we had 613 mitzvot.
So you
But
obviously
as we
not
were
like-
going down, we started becoming weak in them. The David HaMelech, you know what he said? He said, you know what? I'm going to make 11, not commandments, but 11 ways a person should be in order to be as if he's following the 630 mitzvot.
Oh, David Mel- I said
And
that.
then we started getting a little bit more down. I believe Chizkiyahu or somebody said, you know what? We'll do 6. And then we started going even more down. He said, you know what? We'll do 3. Meaning, if you do these three things, it's as if you're following the 630. Then it came to 2, and then finally 1.
What's that one?
What's that? Emunah in Hashem. He says, if you have Emunah in Hashem, which means, if you know that everything in this world is from Hashem, everything, your good looks, your body that you just created, you understand? Which is not, you should know, it's not you. It's that Hashem takes a person where he wants to go. So imagine in his world right now, I want to have a nice body. Hashem says, okay, I have to grant that to you.
So it is him.
But
Meaning
that's
it's
not
Hashem
true. What are you
giving
talking
him.
No,
that-
no.
No, it doesn't make sense.
I don't just
Since he has this inside of him,
But-
Hashem says, like, I'm going to give it to him.
But it's not.
Whether
No,
good,
it's true. I learned that today. Like the cow-
100%.
cow
You see
eats
how he's
grass,
dressed?
Gains a lot of weight. Women eat grass. They
You,
lose
you,
weight.
you, you see how he's dressed?
It's not about the grass.
He
it's
wants to be dressed like that.
Or the hat.
I want to be GQ, hat, this, that, whatever. So Hashem says, you know what?
It's GG.
I'm going to give it to him. And therefore, he gives it whatever. Meaning the way we want to go, that's exactly.
I wanna,
Hashem gave it to me so I can get married.
Yes.
so I want to be a multi-billionaire.
Oh, you know
You
what?
don't need it.
If you really deeply want it,
Yeah,
you're
obviously.
gonna be that millionaire
I wanna
or
be a
billionaire.
multi-millionaire.
What is that gonna cost you?
Exactly.
What are you gonna lose out of it?
It's gonna cost you something
Go.
that Hashem maybe doesn't want you to have. So it depends. If he loves you and he knows you're gonna do the right thing with the money,
You won't.
you know, if he knows that, then he's gonna give it to you. If he knows you're gonna waste your life,
No, I'm gonna.
then guess what? He's not gonna give it to you. Meaning he'll make you up there. He'll give you, whatever he has to give you. But we have to understand. Emunah in Hashem, knowing that, you know what, everything, we have to at one point just surrender to Hashem. And when we surrender to Hashem, you know what he says? I got you. If you're now saying, I'm the one that's doing everything, and I'm responsible for your health and for your everything, then I got you. But if you're basing it on what you think you are, because I'm the best watch salesman there is, I got, what do you call it? That money loans and this and that. He's thinking, I'm cash advance,
Real
I'm
estate.
this, I'm that, real estate, I'm the best barber, I'm the best jeweler.
Own a pizzeria.
Pizzeria, I got it. You know what Hashem says? Okay, you got it. And he leaves it all into your hands. And guess what? Then we have thoughts like DY, where he says what? He says, nah. What was that first thing you said?
That wasn't my thought.
No, what was that first
That's
thing
not
you
what I was
said?
saying.
What did he say? I
Wasn't
forgot.
talking about you.
No,
He said that he didn't feel it or something.
no. Give me that again.
He didn't say
That phrase.
one.
That phrase is a very serious phrase. What? I didn't feel I was important enough.
I didn't say. That's
I
not what I
was.
meant.
What was it?
Let me explain to
I
you.
No,
that's
no.
what you meant.
What was it? I want to know the exact phraseology. What did he say?
You're
I
not
don't even
honest
know
with
if what we're
yourself.
doing matters.
No, what I'm doing doesn't matter.
What I'm trying to say
What
is
I'm
like
doing
this.
doesn't matter.
For example.
And that's why
No.
yeah, you should know. You should know. What I'm doing is the only thing that matters. That's how each one of us is supposed to think.
Like, that's what I'm-
He's 1 second. He's supposed to think that every morning, everything that I do, that's the only thing that matters to
I
Hashem.
know.
And he's supposed to think that. And he's supposed to think that. And he's supposed to think that. And therefore, when we're thinking that way, not chas v'shalom from ga'ava,
I know.
it's that every action that I do, there's a reaction, positive or negative. 1 second. First, you have to understand. First, you have to
I understand
understand.
that. What I'm
First, you
trying
have to
to-
understand this concept, which means what? If I'm the one who's gonna put on tefillin on time and say Shema on time, the world revolves because of me. If I'm the one that's gonna make it to mincha, it's me. If I'm the one who's gonna make the bracha, it's me. If I'm the one that's gonna respect my parents, it's me. Because of me, the world exists.
Yeah.
1 second. And if each one of us thinks that way, guess what? Mashiach is here.
Okay.
But what we do, who am I? It don't matter. You think it don't matter. He thinks it
I'm
don't
not
matter.
saying
He thinks it
I
don't
don't
matter.
matter.
No, you said a powerful word.
No, let me just.
You said a powerful statement, which everybody said. But you know what? You were honest and you said it. But that's the most important default factor that we have now. That's why when it comes to getting up, you know how we get up? There's an 8 o'clock minyan. There's a 9 o'clock minyan. I'll pray home. I don't know. 1 second. Shema Yisrael. And then okay, let's go. I'm out. Let's go to work. And you come to work and like, what the hell? Oh, I forgot shekel. Who cares? It doesn't matter anyway. You see? At least I put it on. At least I put it on. That, you're right. But you know what? But if we think we are the prince, I am the prince. And there's only one prince. And there's only one king. You understand? That's why it says that Hashem created the whole world. You know for who? For DY. And he created the whole world for who? For AY and BY. He created the whole world for me. And that's why everything, he made sure that I get everything in order to serve Hashem. And when we do that, then we're going to bring the Mashiach. But for now, what was that phrase you said?
Oh my God.
DY.
What was that phrase? DY. What was the phrase I said? Yeah, that's right there. That's 7 o'clock. He's thinking, I still got up till 8:30.
Can you listen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to. What is he doing?
Go ahead.
That's great.
We got 5 more minutes.
So I'm just.
Bless me.
This is why he thinks that.
5 more minutes.
Let's make sure we get
What I was trying to tell you is
Yes.
like this. For example,
Guess you
me doing A, for example, let's say waking up,
Yes.
going to shul, but then whenever I come back, it's like I'm doing mitzvahs and averas, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like,
Do you know why?
to get out.
yeah.
Do you know why? Because of that phrase that you said.
No.
You should change that phrase and said, you know what? I'm the most important person in this world. And because of my mitzvot, the world runs. And because of my averot, Gaza happens.
Sometimes, you know what it feels like? it feels like
That's
you
your
know
short
you're
right there.
doing this good, you're doing that good, but then there's this Avera, and then there's that
So what?
Avera,
It doesn't
and
take
then
away
it's
the
like
other.
you
Bro,
know
you
at
know
this
what it's
point.
like?
Wait.
When you diet for so
You get depressed basically.
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
sins
and then you break it once,
And then you become a
and then you
grizzly.
just lose all hope, and then you just like
That's what because you lose all hope. The whole system
Not
doesn't lose
understand.
hope.
Yeah, but
You lose hope.
If you stop, and
If
get
you
back
come
on it
back
after
from
the
that
2
and you're like,
days,
okay, fine, I'm on a
You're good.
diet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But
get
yeah,
right
you-
back to it.
but
Tomorrow
you-
I'm gonna
like
get
what do you
better.
do?
Then you're back on your diet. Nothing
the
broke.
whole point of the diet is your body can handle